My wealth remained my students, and I still work for them every day. Students I found mostly remained unprepared to face the challenges of the industry. Everything, every process requires automation now. Have great network because the world nowadays is of networking. All those students who were very tough to manage, whom sometime all the teachers used to call notorious also, they are the most successful in their life. So a good teacher should be a good contributor towards the growth of these two. My definition of success is related with the level of happiness which I get. If you are being seen upon by your subordinates with hope of meeting their goals too, then you are elite. Hard work only will give you several alternatives on which you can work smartly, and you can also be called a smart worker.
I am your host Gaurav Garg, and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Dr. Ajay. He is having more than 32 years of experience in the field of management research, teaching, training, consultancy and academic administration. He was Research Fellow of UGC and was also recognized as Associate Professor by GGS in Trust University in 2001. He was imparted MDPs for the companies like BEL, IOC, Motherson Sumi, public sector banks, and some others. He has also written books on brand management and consumer behavior. Dr. Ajay has also completed successfully many consultancy for the pharmaceutical companies for their launch of the product in Bihar, Nepal and Northeast states. He has organized more than 30 seminars and conferences on diverse issues of management practices. Dr. Ajay is a passioner of relationship marketing and an ardent supporter of rural upliftment programs. He aims at working with companies for mutual beneficial relationship leading to rural economic growth. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Ajay to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav. I feel my happiness for being at this platform, and I would love to interact with you on various issues which you have in mind. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that you would like to share on our show.
One important point I would like to share with you. Actually, my early education was in North Bihar. It's a small town, Madhubani. So naturally, we were more into street plays and games than anything else. One of my friends of that period, I still remember, he used to take out lamp in the evening and he used to sit on the floor. And 8:30 to 9, when we used to depart for our sleep or we used to go to bed, he used to tie up his hairs on the wall, some things hung there. And he used to study till 12:30 or 1 in the night. We used to laugh at that boy. He got under 100 rank in his IIT. He joined IIT, then he went to Massachusetts. And he is today one of the leading scientists globally and one of the leading educationists also. I would like to say the theme behind that, which we learned very late. There is no alternative of hard work. There is no alternative of dedication. There is no alternative of sincerity towards the goal which comes in your mind. And that particular event, that particular time, that particular memory, that remains engraved deeper in my heart, even till date. And I usually share this particular experience, this particular part of life with youngsters and anyone who comes across with me and asks this question about my childhood memory.
Great. So hard work basically always pays.
Yes, there is no alternative of hard work.
So what about your educational background, schooling and higher education?
I did my graduation in English Literature, Honours. And immediately after that, I appeared for entrance examination for MBA admission. I did my MBA from Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi. After that, I appeared for UGC examination, UGC NET. Earlier at the time, it was for commerce stream. And among few, I too qualified. And I joined Patna University as full-time research fellow, JRF. Submitted my PhD in 93. The PhD was awarded in 95. And I worked for some time in the industry. Here, I would like to share again, I don't know, I will call it my poor perception, or I will call it the environmental factor. I did my PhD at the time with the perception that better you are qualified, you will be competitive in industrial area. You will be getting better option of jobs in India also, and you will be able to contribute to the industrial growth. That was my primary objective when I joined my PhD. The PhD topic was on strategic marketing.
So, what was your dream profession as a child?
I still remember as a young boy, I used to tell my colleagues, do like this, don't do this, don't behave like this. So yes, something of teacher that was in me. And I used to restrict also, don't do this, don't behave like this. So something of administrator also that was there. And even though I didn't know, these things developed in me. And you know that knowledge gaining is a process. And this process gave me different opportunities in academics. And still I'm learning. Learning is a process, and it never dies. Still I'm learning. I'm learning from youngsters now. I'm learning from my teachers also who are alive. I'm learning from my industry colleagues also. So naturally, if you ask me what was my dream, so naturally I wanted to tell people what should be done and what shouldn't be done. So I'm doing these things in my specialized area, that is management profession specifically. And I have been practicing that.
So what about your college and university life experience and memories that you would like to share?
When I was in graduation, naturally it was very competitive. At that time, we didn't have semester program. It was 2 years honors program and 6 papers were there. Other papers were economics and history. So at the time, we were not having so many entertainment areas and we didn't have this mobile, etc. So our only focus was on study and learning more and more. I used to read many books of different areas, especially novels, poetry, etc., etc. So my ambition at that time was to be a topper in the university, which I tried. But I got third rank in the university and I have to remain satisfied because 2 who got first and second, I accepted. They were better prepared. So naturally, college life was of hard work, sincerity towards studies, and that I did. When I joined my MBA program, the passion for reading books, especially novels and poetry, that didn't die. And in addition to MBA courses, even during examination, I used to read novels and everyone used to laugh at me. Okay, you are going to have excellent marks in the examination. And I completed my MBA there. And the campus life was very great, very great. Good friends I got, good colleagues I got, good network I got, and good alumni still I'm connected with.
So apart from reading, studying, securing marks, were there any notorious movement in your university or college?
I used to drive very fast. I was having a scooter at the time, Bajaj Chetak scooter was there. I used to drive very fast. And because of this particular passion, at the time we didn't know that, rather it was not even communicated officially what should be the speed limit. I can tell you, I used to travel 15 kilometers on a scooter in 10 minutes. So it was tremendous speed which I maintained, and the outcome once I realized, I was on the ground of the college and my scooter that moved from above my head and it fell down other part. So I realized, okay, excess of everything is bad. This was the notoriety which I would like to share, and everyone used to get surprised also, and no one used to sit on the backside of my scooter when I used to drive. So yes, learning remained process, and it taught me, okay, excess of everything is bad. You must have control in life. And it was great learning that yes, under control environment, control techniques, control process, you can be successful. Even in driving also, you can drive well. And this is life also, which I try to drive very well.
So what about your hobbies and interests?
In early childhood, I was a cricketer. I used to play kabaddi. I used to do cycling also. I was in NCC. So naturally, disciplinary parades, etc. That was my passion. Initially, I used to think of army too, though I didn't appear for any of the examinations later. But yes, I used to praise the army men, air force men also. And for 5-6 years, I was in NCC. So sports, etc. that remained part and parcel of my life. Cricket especially, that I played, that I loved also. And yes, it was a process. I mean, you can say that a village child I was, because see, my father was an administrator, but he never restricted me. You cannot play with the peon's sons. And they were very, very close friend of mine. So I used to play in the ditches also. So I used to swim in the village pond with my village colleagues, and it was wonderful, enjoyable life and memory. And that gave me one great learning also, that men or women, everyone who is born, they are equal.
So who was your inspiration in your early childhood?
I was in NCC, so at the time I used to study the history also. So Subhash Chandra Bose, I studied a lot about him. He was having his own army. He was a great inspiration for me. Then yes, as I was in Bihar area, so I used to study about Dr. Rajendra Prasad, great lawyer, great statesperson, a true freedom fighter also, and a true propagandist. He was a person who spread love, good relationships, knowledge, and the way of living life independently that he taught to everyone. So all these people, these two people specifically, they were my inspiration. Especially, I was inspired by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
So where did you started your professional journey from?
After completion of my full-time research fellowship, I worked for 2-3 pharmaceutical companies as marketing manager, and my area was Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha, northeastern states, and Nepal. So I worked there for 3-4 years, and then I started my academic career with BLS Institute of Management, which was initially affiliated with CCS University, and later it got affiliated with JJSIP University, Delhi. I worked there, and with the blessings of Almighty and my hard work, in another 2 years, I became deputy director and registrar there. So the journey in academics, as far as my responsibilities were concerned, I was given responsibility at a very early time. I did my MBA in 1987, completed my PhD, awarded rather in 1995. But in 2001, I was deputy director, registrar, and full professor, as announced by the institute. And I kept working very hard. I worked for these students. I never thought, about time, etc. If I wanted to prepare these students, train these students, or take these students for industry interaction to different places. Even I used to take them to my friends, colleagues who were in industry, and used to arrange interaction in private also. So my wealth remained my students, and I still work for them every day, every night.
So what was your first task and first take-home salary?
When I joined BLS Institute of Management, I was called by some of the experts who were from MDI, and they called me here. I had an interaction, and they asked me to meet me in the institute. Over phone, when I had a talk with the management, they said whatever you are getting, that will be protected, and you will be getting more. At the time in the industry, I was getting around 32,000. So I was very happy. Okay, nothing I am going to lose, so it's fine. So I joined BLS Institute of Management. I was sitting at the reception. I was called by the Director General, Mr. Bhargav, who was retired IAS, who was Chief Secretary of UP earlier, and who was Home Secretary of Government of India too. So he called me, he gave me a letter. He said, "Congratulations, it's your letter, you have been appointed." I said, "Thank you." I went outside. He asked me to leave the room. I went outside. I opened the letter and I started trembling because it was written 8,000 per month. Both of them came out, chairman and our DG, Mr. Bhargav, RC Bhargav, both of them came out, and they sat in their car. I ran after car, I banged the car, and the back door of the car opened, and Sushil Agarwal asked me, "Yes, what is the problem?" I told him, "Sir, what is this? You had told me something else." I still remember the mirror that went up, and he told me, "If you have got the capability, get it." I came back, I sat at the reception for some time, and I decided to join because I had come bag and baggage. I can very well say that I felt as if I am the greatest fool on this earth who resigned, who believed the word and came here. But surprisingly, I would like to share with you, Gauravji, another 3 months I was promoted. My salary was increased. I joined in the month of August, September, and February again revision was made. I never asked for anything. When it was June, at the time they used to revise the salary, I was called by the chairman, and he asked me, "Dr. Saab, what do you expect?" Mankasa, "I don't have any expectation. I remember your word. If you deserve, you will get." So from 8,000, next year it was 24. And I don't have any reservation in saying that one of the highest salaries which in academics can be offered, that I got by that management. Wonderful experience, wonderful journey. And I never asked for my increment. I got every time.
So what were the initial days challenges and how did you overcome them?
So it was new institute. So naturally, I told you there is no alternative to hard work. So preparing the team, motivating the team, looking for all the strategic plans of the institute, preparing the students for future, training them, arranging guest lectures for them, calling experts for them. It was 24/7, I will say, because Sunday they used to come to me. So students were prepared, and finally you will be very happy to note that all these students got placement and they are doing wonderful in the industries. Some of the students of first batch, I remember they are in US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and in Dubai or other areas also. So it was wonderful experience. Strategically I worked. I made the profile of individual students, and whatever shortcomings I found in them, on those shortcomings, entire team, not me only, entire team, they worked very hard. And it led immediately to good name of the institute. And immediately next year, we got affiliated with GGSIP University. So branding of the institute, that also went up.
So for some time, you have joined a non-academic sector, which is Astro Solutions. Any particular reason to shift from academic institute?
You have taken it in a different way. So Astro Solutions still it exists. See, my interest is in astrology also. What happens whenever you have certain doubt, you think, okay, there should be some Pandit who will be telling you what is going to be your future. I initially thought, no, it cannot be a correct concept. How can a Pandit can say, okay, Bhagwan tumhara bhala karega and something this will happen, something that will happen. So I started trying to find out what is there in astrology. So I came to know about BHU, I came to know about different courses, then I came to know about Bihar University also, where different courses were there in astrology. So I was told by one of the professors of chemistry that it's basically science. You can say raw science, calculations are there. So I started studying the astrology. I started working on calculations, and you know that it's very difficult to have exact time of birth, and it is very difficult to have the map location of the birthplace. So naturally, certain challenges were there in calculations. I started this thing in 1996. So yes, I am into astrology also, but it is not like it's a ye bhasm khalo bhagwan tera bhala karega. It is not like that. It's calculation based. It's Parasar calculation. If Parasar had written the book, and if he is correct to a great extent, then yes, the calculations which I do, that can also be called correct. And I'm doing it. I'm still studying. So my all predictions are based on the horoscope. So it's an area which I love, and it is not like tantra, mantra or something else. It's pure mathematical calculations. So yes, it is there.
So post completing your doctor in philosophy PhD, what was the reason to choose education sector?
Initial program was to have some position in the industry so that I could have contributed towards a strategic marketing, on which I completed my PhD. But initially, wherever I applied, I found that everywhere, I was told by the interviewers also, oh, you are overqualified. Because at the time in 90s, most of the interviewers were either graduate or some of them were MBAs too. So I realized, okay, if I am declared by them misfit, what will be the alternative through which I can contribute for the growth of the students as well as growth of education sector or industry, you can say. Because education at the time, it had emerged as an industry, though non-profit. So after venturing into this industry for 3 years, I found that, okay, I have got the capability to prepare the students for future. I found, especially in Bihar, Jharkhand, if you will still visit different places, you will find that students, they remain misinformed about the career opportunities, etc., because all these places, including West Bengal, Odisha, or northeastern states, industries are not there, companies are not there, manufacturing units are not there, public sectors are there, government jobs are there. So I thought, okay, the top students, those who are very brilliant, they go to IIT. Number of students who opt for IIT from these states is not less than any other states. Many of these students go for UPSC, IS, etc. But what about the B grade students? After all, the country requires the contribution from all the categories of the youth. So I decided to work on these students. And my concept was very clear, Gauravji, I would like to tell you. I stayed in Jharkhand for a very long period. What I found, there are several missionary schools, St. Eves, then St. John's, then many saints are there in whose name schools are being run. I found that students or children from very poor background, they join the school. They don't have any knowledge as such. They don't have parental heritage of knowledge too. And they came up very well, or they have been coming up very well after completion of the studies. So I felt, okay, if someone is having missionary zeal to prepare these students, naturally everyone has got learning aptitude. So they can be prepared for better future. So with this objective only, I started my own venture into academics. Okay, let the students come whosoever wants to do MBA and who are eligible as per the requirement of the university. Let us prepare these students. Let us groom these students. The most important challenge which I faced initially, that was the communication. So I started working on communication. Rather 3-4 faculty members were hired in consultation with the management. They agreed, okay, there no problem. And the students were prepared on communication and personality development. And they came up with great wonders, I will say. During admission, if you used to ask them, what is your salary expectation? I still remember 97 batch, they used to say 1,500. And you will be surprised to know, none of the students got placement at the time lesser than 7,500. So it was achievement at the time. I will not say that it was wonderful salary. I will not say that I did something great. But yes, it was a good beginning. The highest salary at the time also was 25,000. So it was satisfactory for me.
So what major differences did you see in the working culture of academic and non-academic institutes?
What happens if we talk about the institutions who are professionally imparting the training and knowledge to the students, and on the other hand, traditional institutions, difference is very clear. See, traditional institutions, they focus only on teaching and curriculum. They are having examination system. They conduct the examination. If someone works very hard, goes through different pages and able to write all the answers, they get good marks. On the other hand, in professional environment, if you are going to train the students properly, if you are able to give them platform where they can expose their talents, and if you nurture that particular talent, say, someone may have leadership qualities. Someone may be very smart, street smart, who can be a good marketer. Initially, okay, salesperson. Someone is able to manage the accounts, etc. I mean, different qualities were there in different students. So if you nurture those particular skills, that led to their success. And this is the basic difference which we find in general traditional colleges and professional colleges.
So what's your opinion about saying that there is a huge difference between the education a student gets in college and in real professional life? When they get in, they are like zero and they have to start from the beginning. So what would you like to say about that?
See,
comparison between the academic knowledge and professional life.
Most of the institutions, if we talk about IIMs, etc., I have visited all the IIMs. What I found in them that in addition to case studies also, they are having components of practical training as well. So naturally, in addition to classroom teachings or in addition to bookish knowledge or basic knowledge, conceptual knowledge, you can say, the students are allowed to practice all those knowledges in the form of not only case discussions, but in the form of preparation of the projects or analysis of certain challenges or problems, you can say. So on the other hand, if you talk about the institutions which I told you, what happens, most of the faculty members who are there in B grade institutions, they are into this profession by default, not by choice. So they prepare the teaching material and they impart teaching in the classes, text materials, text things they teach. So students, I found, mostly remain unprepared to face the challenges of the industry. What happens, see, any industry, if you are looking for a payment of, say, today, 5 lakhs package or 6 lakhs package, which is average salary now required for survival, if a company is ready to pay, company would like to have the return from day one. They don't have time to train the students for another 1 year, 2 years or 3 years. So the basic challenge or basic responsibility of all these institutions are that they must follow the curriculum in such a way that at least 40 to 50% training components are there. They must arrange good exposure to the students from industry, not in the form of lectures only, guest lectures or industry interaction or participation in seminar or conferences, rather in the form of training. It should be practical training. Not only 2 months training, which we call summer internship. They must have at least 2-3 training components, say in the form of real actual case analysis, in the form of actual industrial problems analysis, and naturally summer internship, etc., etc. That way students can be nurtured and prepared, and then they can really be pleasantly employable. My term for employment is not employment. Anyone whosoever gets professional education must get pleasantly employable opportunity. Then only the education is justified. And that's what we find in our new education policy.
So what do you love about teaching the most?
First and most important, when I joined, I was 27, 28 years old. Now I am 57, 58 years old. But in my purview and in front of my eyes, 18 to 24, that remains forever. So I find youthful environment. And you know that today's youth, they have big dreams. They want to become entrepreneur. They want to imitate the path of Tatas, Birlas, big names which were earlier 20 years back. And they really want to work for that. They have passion, they have dreams, and they have knowledge also. This digitization or internetization, that brought revolution in across the globe. Naturally, our country also is fully exposed, and everyone, most of the population nowadays, they are into the use of internetized world. They are into internetized world. They are into digitized. So naturally, living with them, it's a wonderful experience. And naturally, in the process, I too get knowledge from them on several fields, which otherwise I would have been unaware if I would not have been into teaching profession.
So how would you define teacher?
Teacher should be a mentor. A teacher should be guide. A teacher should always dream for the students and the success of the students. He should find joy if all the students or most of the students or the students whom they teach, they train, they prepare, they are successful. So teaching profession is a joyful profession where every child, whosoever comes near you, and if he becomes or she becomes successful, naturally, the pleasure you get, the pleasure is nevertheless than the success of your own son or daughter. So it's a great profession altogether.
So what was the toughest challenge you have faced till date?
The toughest challenge which I face as an administrator, as an academic administrator, is to convince the management to invest more for the career of this. What happens? You can have dream, you can have idea, you can have plan. But any idea or any plan or any strategic approach, that requires investment. Any management nowadays, any management, I'm talking about even private universities also, they look for revenue. What I say, that you invest and the revenue will be a byproduct. Initially, it remained a big challenge to convince. And at one place, rather, I got stuck and I could not be very successful also that particular year because of the poor investment by the management in investing in training components of the students. So here I would like to say that there were instances when I used to take my students in my car and I used to take them to the companies and I used to request the HR people, okay, you give me a chance, give them a chance for 3-4 months, and if they are not successful, you may ask them to leave the company and you may 50% of that particular penalty that I will be ready to go. So that was a challenging year where around 25 students were placed like this. And touch wood, all the students were successful because they also knew that his director and his professor is taking them to the companies. So naturally they work very hard and they learned very fast and they are successful. They are very successful. One of the students of 2014 batch, I'm talking about, he is CEO in one of the companies. So naturally, I feel happy when I go to meet him and I wait outside his office for half an hour or so to get an appointment to meet him. But whenever I meet him, he touches my feet, and that is the bonus which I get.
So according to you, what is the role of technology in classroom?
Everything, every process requires automation nowadays. Even in curriculum, the entire process of learning is integration of IT. If you are in marketing, naturally Digital marketing, that is the requirement. Analytics, that is the requirement. Advanced Excel, that is the requirement. If you are into finance, it is not like, okay, finance guy is calculating on the paper. That's a software. So you need all those learnings. See, in HR also, HR analytics, etc. Lot many things are there. I'm not talking about even application of AI or blockchain, etc. That is the requirement nowadays. So integration of IT into all the areas of management or all the areas of education, that is a must. And that has brought great transformation also. And all those who are going to lead, or all those who are going to be successful in imparting true education, professional education, they will have to integrate at every step the digital arena of education. I told you about AI, I told you about machine learning, and there are many things, everything rather. I told you about analytics. All these things are required. All these things are required.
So how do you like to communicate and build relationship with the students?
Simple thing. Share your dream. Take the help of all the teachers. If you are modern, exploit them. They are ready to get exploited because that is their success. Use all the avenues of digital world. Have value-added programs in addition to your curriculum. Go for everything which is latest in IT world pertaining to your areas. Learn that. There are several platforms which are providing online education also, training also. Go for all those things. Have short-term courses. Upgrade and upgrade and upgrade every day, even after passing out. That is what I advise to all these students. Remain in touch with your teachers. Remain in touch with industry mentors and have great network, because the world nowadays is of networking. That will give you an edge, that will give you an opportunity, and that will give you at the best good learning, good advice.
So how would you handle a student who is very difficult to teach?
Why does a student take admission in the colleges? Naturally, for career. I will like to add here, and I would like to share also, all those students who were very tough to manage, whom sometime all the teachers used to call notorious also, they are the most successful in their life. See, what you are required to do, you will have to manage their or channelize their energy into right direction. They are extraordinary. They are extraordinary. Don't treat them as below average. They are very sharp. They are very intelligent. See, all those students you talked about, so you must be knowing in hostel life, all those who are below average, whom we call below average, they keep on doing mischiefs even at 1 o'clock at the night. So see the energy level. 10:30 everyone is sleeping. 1 o'clock he is involved in mischief. So if you are going to direct their energy into right direction, then naturally they will be wonderful in their career. For that, the institutions should have different facilities also, say sports facilities. So gymnasium, say debating society also. You should have different clubs where they can demonstrate their youthful energy. They can divert their youthful energy into creative way of presentation. If someone wants to be a singer and he is into management education because of the pressure from their parents, singing career, he also knows that it's very challenging and very difficult. So let him have opportunity to sing, let him have the opportunity to learn music, but let him be guided to work here, which will ultimately give him bread and butter. And there are several such cases you must be knowing also. A good singer, they sing also in parties with friends and who are wonderful professional, contributing to the growth of the country, growth of the economy. So that is the way you will have to see these students.
So what are the qualities of good teacher?
First and foremost, they are required to be very proactive. Second, whenever I go to the classes, and earlier when I used to be a teacher very regularly, I used to tell one thing to the students. My dear, this side I am 1, and on the other side you are 60. The day you will push at my back and throw me out of the class with your knowledge, I will be the happiest person in my life. Okay, the team is strong and I will have to learn from them. So teachers are required to be very adaptive to the environment because they are also dealing with the talents. So they should have this maturity and they should be very purposeful because teaching, okay, it has become a profession. They are looking for good salary, good earnings also. But prime objective is to prepare the students, train the students and do everything for them. And believe me, the return will be very high. All those who are being praised by the students, they are successful teachers. They have got growth in their career. They naturally, because of the students' questions and different avenues which are available, they are good researchers also. Because research activities that have emerged as one of the major areas to remain in touch with what exactly is taking place in the industry and in the companies. So a good teacher should be a good contributor towards the growth of the student. And that is the success mantra for any professor, any teacher. That's what I believe.
So how has been your journey from research fellow to director IMS Ghaziabad?
When I was into the research activities at Patna University, I was a student. And that too very senior student. I was 28, 29 at the time. One thing what I learned at the time, whenever my guide, he was having some health issues, he used to ask me, go and take the class. So naturally, when I used to go to the class, the students were very reactive. But when I used to communicate them about purpose of their life, they used to feel very happy. And I was friendly in nature too. So I was very receptive for them. So I can say research career remained very good. I worked very hard on my PhD work. I did my postdoctoral also in pharmaceutical strategy. That was also on strategic marketing. So it was a wonderful journey for 5 years. Industry also, I was very successful and I appreciate that the management under which I worked, companies were from Ahmedabad, they appreciated me a lot. But suddenly I thought, okay, I must go into teaching, and the journey from assistant professor in 1997 to associate professor and professor in 2001 to deputy director registrar and later from 2004-05 director, that remained very appreciable. Every time I felt very happy. I remain very satisfied. And one thing I would like to say, I always remain dissatisfied if I find any students not successful. So that is my mantra of success. If my student is successful, I am very happy. And that gives me a sense of remaining youthful too, even at this age.
So what was your first award and what does award means to you?
First award, I still remember, it was 1998. I was declared best teacher. So that was the best award I can say. Because I would like to say here, see, only 32 or 34 votes were given to other teachers. And I got all the votes from these students. And my DG told me, okay, you have manipulated. You must have campaigned for your candidature as best teachers. And I just smiled. I was very happy because it was love of the students and regards of the students. And somehow I will say that I was able to meet the expectations of the students. That's why they voted me. That was the best award. That was the first award.
So who is your mentor?
You must have heard the name of Dr. Vinaysil Gautam, who was founder director of management department of IIT. He is my mentor, he is my guide. And Dr. Vinod Kumar, you must have heard the name of Dr. Vinod Kumar. He was head HR at IIM Calcutta. He is very closely associated with me. He is now in 80s, but every week I can say I contact him, I take his advice, I take his guidance, and I work under blessings of these two. Wonderful person, wonderful teacher, and great personality.
How would you define success and what is the role of hard work, smart work and luck in achieving success?
Success, the definition of success can be given by different people in a different way. My definition of success is related with the level of happiness which I get. Naturally, if your basic amenities that is being met, that basic requirements are being met, you also look for happiness. You also look for the environment where you remain very happy. So that is the thing for which I worked. And if you talk about hard work, see, it's even in office, if you are smiling at 5 o'clock and if you are smiling at 6 o'clock, naturally You are enjoying your job. You are enjoying your profession. So hard work gives you alternative to work smartly. If you are working hard, it's not like labor's job. Okay, you are not toiling in the field. You are doing something across, something goes in your mind and you analyze, you interpret, you comprehend, and then you come out with the solutions among the alternatives. Many people say, okay, this is not the world of hard work, this is the world of smart work. But hard work only will give you several alternatives on which you can work smartly, and you can also be called a smart work. So it's an amalgamation of hard work and working smartly with pleasure and happiness. That gives you success. That gives you joy. That gives you happiness. And that gives you true value of life also.
So what does leadership means to you, and what are the quality of a good leader?
If you are able to take along a particular motive, a particular goal, the entire team, and if they accept the purpose of the goal, then if you are at the top of the affairs, you are a leader. If you are being seen upon by your subordinates with hope of meeting their goals too, then you are a leader. In academics, if you are working for the growth of the organization and towards the objectives of the students, their career objectives, along with the objectives of all the employees, and if you are able to meet those objectives, exceed those expectations, you are a leader. So definition of leader is related with the team, the community, and the purpose is very clear. If you demonstrate through example, then you are a leader.
So how do you make your work-life balance?
Gauravji, again, it's a very different concept altogether. Your home is there, and your workplace, that is also there. Both are important because one is your kith and kin, you call kith and kin, and one is your extended family. What I say everyone, that in any organization, wherever you are working minimum 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. So 8 to 9 hours you are there, and 8 to 9 hours you are with the team. On the other hand, if you talk about home, naturally, 2 hours in the morning when you are preparing, readying for your office, and 3 hours in the evening before your sleep. So 5 hours you are there. Emotionally, you are more close to your family members, but 5 hours you are there. Why can't you be emotionally close with those with whom you are working? You are 9 hours there. So it's both family. So balance is but obvious. You spread love, you spread good relationship, you ask them to do what is important for their career, for the growth of the organization. You share your philosophy, you guide them, you get guided by them. Naturally, balance between personal life and professional life, that will always be there, because in personal life you cannot bring professionalism, but in professional life you can give personal touch, and that will be to your advantage always and every time. So that is the way I balance my life.
So what advice would you like to give to young professors?
Work very hard, be realistic, adapt to the environment, and adapt to every emerging new technologies, because that is going to define your future if you are fully equipped with it. That's what I want to say.
So what are do's and don'ts a teacher should remember while starting his career journey?
A teacher must imbibe knowledge, that is very important. A teacher must very hard. A teacher must remain updated about different sources of the knowledge. And a teacher must remain selfless in imparting the education, imparting the training, preparing the students for the future. A teacher should not stop in their quest for knowledge, because someone feels, okay, I have done PhD, what next? It's over, I'm fine, I know. Never use the term I know, I did this, I did that. Always be ready to adapt to new challenges, new environment, and always be ready to prepare your end users. Your knowledge has to be imparted, and that has to be given to the students. Prepare them for future, and there should be neutrality in meeting the expectations of the guardians. So one should be very truthful, that's what I can say.
So what advice would you like to give to graduates who are entering the professional world?
First is hard work. Second is must define the purpose and objective of life. Third, get equipped with all those knowledges and trainings which are required to meet your purpose. Don't misutilize time. Time is very precious. Any lost time will never come back. Have fun, enjoy your life, but try to find out enjoyment in training and education also, because that is also one of the practices which give happiness. Garner happiness in your professional educational journey, and definitely it will fetch great way in your professional life. So work hard, remain smart, enjoy every moment, don't misutilize your time.
So now we'll start our rapid round.
Yes.
So if you need to choose one thing to achieve success, what would that be? Luck, hard work, or smart work?
Hard work. Hard work gives the way to a smart.
Your favorite actor and actress?
Sriram Lago and Madhuri Dixit.
Your favorite color?
Red and black.
Success in one line?
Happiness, joy, pleasure, and living the moment. That is happy.
So at last, one line that defines you.
I remain happy every time, every moment, and I don't like to waste my time in any silly things. This is the secret of life, and this is the secret of the youthfulness in me.
So thank you very much for your time and sharing your deep knowledge on our show. It was a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav. Happy to interact with you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.